Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Badash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I just wanted to go into a quick lesson to give an update on some of the things that happened over the weekend down here in Mississippi. Not even just Jackson, just Mississippi in general. And it's been shootings everywhere. All of these are during homecoming week or weekend rather. All the homecomings, where Jake had gathered together, got shot up. Well, not all of them, but a good majority of them. As you can see, it says shootings at Jackson State and Alcorn State lead multiple victims, which that's one of the ones I covered yesterday. But I'm gonna go back into it. It says following violent weekend across Mississippi. So several shootings at Jackson State University and Alcorn State University left several people wounded and at least one dead Saturday, which we know that I think it's been more than just one now. Capping a violent weekend that also saw deadly gunfire at multiple high school homecoming events across Mississippi. So it says at approximately 7 p.m. Saturday, Capitol Police responded to reports of a shooting near the Jackson State University football stadium in the tailgating area. This is where everybody goes out the tailgate, get together at the outside of the stadium. They said a shooting happened out there, according to a statement from the agency. A juvenile was shot in the abdomen and taken to a nearby hospital. No arrests have been made. The investigation remains open and active. It says, and about 30 minutes later, around 6:30 p.m., officers at Alcorn State University responded to a call of shots fired near the Industrial Technology Building on campus. According to the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, three people were found with gunshot wounds, and at least one person died. MBI is handling the investigation and continuing to gather evidence. Now, I'm gonna go to the next one. It says 8 people are killed in separate shootings in Mississippi, and this is probably the most wild one because this is 2 different high school shootings. It says high school homecoming celebration in Mississippi ended in gunfire with 2 separate shooters on opposite sides of the state Friday night that left at least 8 people dead and many more injured. And from what I had read, which it might go back into it on this one. See, and now it said 8 people dead, but on this one it says 6, so it hadn't been updated yet. But this, I'm gonna continue on. The Saturday campus shooting followed a night of violence across the state. On Friday, 2 people were killed and another wounded in gunfire during homecoming celebrations at Hildenberg High School, and at least 6 were killed out of 16 shot at the homecoming block party for Leland High School, 2 different high schools. So that's what they did. That's the 8 that they're going into, 2, and then the 8. It said out of 16, but I seen another article. Well, that might be it. Because they said like out of 20 people at one point on one article. But regardless, it says these 8 people, 6 people at one place and 2 at another one, and the one that said 6 for Leland High School, which I didn't even know there was a place in Mississippi because Mississippi got a lot of small towns. But I was watching the news report on that one, and the people said once the shooting was over and the law enforcement finally got there, they said it was nothing but bodies on the ground. It was nothing but bodies, and still to this day, when they go back to that area, they see nothing but dried up blood and flies where the bodies was laying. And then also too, one lady, she was giving her report on how, or what she witnessed. She was inside a building when the shooting started, and she said it was a young girl that ran in with blood all on her, or blood coming off her, or whatever. I don't know what happened, but this was a very, very violent weekend, And it says 6 out of 16 shot. No, 6 killed out of 16 shot. That's crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. 6 people killed out of 16 people shot. And then you got another high school where 2 people got killed. And then you got at Alcorn, 3 people got shot, 1 died. And then at Jackson State, I think it was a young girl that got shot. You know? So all in all, that's probably where they got the numbers from. All in all, you got the 2 that was killed at that high school. You got the 6 right here, so that's the 8 killed. You got 1 killed at Alcorn, so that's 9 killed total over the weekend. Then you add that, let's see, there's 18, 1, 22. So 9 killed out of 22 people shot total this weekend. And I think it's more, but I don't know for sure. But 9 people killed this weekend alone. Just in, not even weekend. The weekend not even over. 9 people killed from Friday night to Saturday night, or from Friday to Saturday. Just in the 24 hours. Well, let me see when they say. Okay, 7 p.m. Saturday. So we'll just say in a 48-hour span, 9 people killed. It's crazy. Law enforcement agencies have not indicated any connection between the incidents, which remain under investigation. Now, here it is. The men of the Lord, the prophets, been warning our people, been warning Jake of the evils that's to come. You know? This is Proverbs chapter 1. Starting at verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. And this is why does it say she uttereth her voice in the streets? And then look, in the AMP it says she raises her voice in the markets. Why? Because the Lord told us to go to the highways and hedges and bid to the marriage and warn our people. I'm going to get there real quick. It says, Matthew 22:9, go ye therefore to the highway into the highways, and the many as ye find bid to the marriage. Verse 10, so those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wit was furnished with guests. Luke 14:23, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. So this is what we're doing. This is what the Lord told us to do. You know, we're doing what the Lord commanded us to do, to go out in the highways and hedges and preach and prophesy. Let me get another one. This is Matthew 11:17. And saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented. Luke 7:32. They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace, and calling one to another, and saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned to you, and ye have not wept. Right. So we're doing what the Lord commanded us to do, because this is the voice of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua speaking to his people through his men. So I'm going to read it again. Wisdom crieth without. She uttered her voice in the streets. The men of the Lord, we're all out there teaching this word day in and day out. And here it is. You just had an incident where one of the men of the Lord teaching got a gun pulled out on him. You know, he had a gun pulled on him by an Edomite, and he had to defend himself. When he got the opportunity, when the opportunity presented itself, he took the gun from the guy, and he wound up beating him. You know, beating the dude bloody. And that happened, I think, yesterday. You know, while he was out there teaching, Edomite rolled up on him. It was one Edomite. You know, like I said, he pulled the gun out on him. So we, you know, the men of the Lord this is what we have to face. You know, we putting our lives on the line, and it's going to get worse. You know, it's not going to get any better. But the difference is Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua is going to be with us, just like he was with that brother. He's going to be with us, throughout it all. But the rest of our people, especially like what happened on the weekend, the Lord not with them. That's why it happened. That's why it happened, because the Lord is not with what you got, what our people doing. I'm going to keep going. It says, she cried in a chief place of concourse, in the opening of the gates. In the city she uttered her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorners, and fools hate knowledge. And this is he talking to our people. How long you going to continue living after the ways of this world, the same world that I'm getting ready to destroy for its ways, and you refuse to turn back to my ways? That's what the Lord is asking Jake. Turn you in my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. So like he said, look, if you change your mindset and change your behavior, I will pour out wisdom unto you. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So the Lord said, look, if you turn to my correction, fear me, and start to change your mind and change your behavior, I will actually grow. You're going to grow spiritually, and you're going to get closer with me. We're going to have a personal relationship to the point to where if anything was to come near you, I'm a handle it for you. You just got to have faith. You got to grow. This is what the Lord wants. But this is what our people do. Because I have called and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. Literally mentioned this while we was at Camp Friday, that it's going to get active. It's going to be a lot of wickedness going on, and people are going to be getting judged. People are going to be getting put to death and getting judged because of how they're living. Like I said, it's a lot of things that went down that weekend, that Friday night and that Saturday night. People were partying, people were drinking, all these spirits were getting riled up, and then you still got you got the YNs, you got Eve. You just got a lot of madness going on, a lot of wickedness, a lot of madness. So, I remember after we, closed up at camp, us, the brothers, we kind of sat up and talked for a little second while we was out there. And then we went, we left. And every single last one of them, we asked what we was finna get into. Shit, we all said we finna go home. We going home. I came home. Other brothers, they went home. Shit, we weren't even, we weren't trying to get caught up in none of that, because we already knew it was going to be nothing but wickedness, and then it's going to lead to some type of judgment. And we didn't want to be around with that, But we was out there, just like the other brothers was all up, they was on up the road from us. Our people didn't stop and listen. They didn't stop and consider like, damn, these men out here teaching the Bible, and it's a lot of activities going on. Maybe I should pay attention to them. This is the Lord trying to tell us something. But guess what? After all these shootings happened, everybody saying this is sad and we got to do better. How the hell you think, and this is Israelites saying this, how the hell you going to do better when the only way to do better, you refuse? Social media posts, it's always the same thing. We got to do better, black community, this, that. It's always the same thing, and it's only getting worse. It says, but ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. Right. So the Lord said, look, every time I tried to tell you what to do to fix the issue, you ain't want to hear it. You drove right on past, you walked right on past, you act like it was nothing. Even though in Leland, Mississippi, and wherever the other high school is, we ain't posted up down there. I don't think it's any camps or nothing down there. Well, it's not, not that, well, at least not of GMS or affiliates that I know of, The internet is still here. All these people have heard about the Israelites. That's no excuse. Can't nobody say, well, there ain't no camp down here to tell us. Everybody knows about the Israelites, Everybody knows about it. So like I said, you didn't want to listen, and especially down here in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. where all Jake, where it was a lot of Israelites while we was down there. Our people didn't want to hear it. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. So when them shots started firing, when people started getting shot at, the Lord wasn't there. He was just beholding. Again, we saw 6 chariots while we was just down there teaching. And it could have been way more. I think we counted. I know for sure we counted at least about 6. While we was down there. It wasn't no we knew it was things going on. The Lord got the angels active where we can see it. We around lights. It's a couple lights where we teach it. And we, usually when it's the sky is black and you got lights, it'd be harder to see the stars and see anything moving. But we saw all those clearly. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction come as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come up upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. So and the Lord's showing you examples of this now. Like he's doing this now. And it's not even bad yet. Like it's bad, but it's not to the point of Jacob's trouble level bad. It ain't even close to that yet. So when it gets to that point, how much worse do you think these people minds is gonna be? They're gonna be trying to call on the Lord, cry to the Most High, trying to figure out what his name is. It's gonna be some even calling on his name. He ain't gonna save you. He see what you doing now. And guess what? Our people, they gonna talk about this for a couple days, maybe a week, and then next week they moving on. Ain't nobody else gonna consider it. Ain't nobody else gonna think about it. The only difference is people just gonna be afraid to go out. You might have a few less people that go out to public events now, but Jake gonna go right back into that same. It's gonna be the same thing. It's only gonna get worse. Now, verse 29. This is why the Lord gonna do this. It says, because for they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. I'm gonna scroll back up because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So fearing Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, I'm reading the AMP. The reverent fear of the Lord that is worshiping him and regarding him as truly awesome is the beginning of the preeminent part of knowledge. It started point in its essence. But arrogant fools despise skillful and godly wisdom and instruction and self-discipline. And this is exactly what our people despise. Skillful and godly wisdom and instruction and self-discipline. They don't want to do it the way the Lord told us to do it. They want to do it their own way. But then you get the same results. Violence and death. Confusion, madness, wickedness, sinful behavior, sinful mindsets. It's literally the same thing. Our people trying to live life the way they want to live instead of according to the Lord. Now it says in Proverbs, various kinds of fools are discussed, including those who are closed-minded, overconfident, and reject instruction and correction. The epitome of an Israelite, a 2/3 Israelite, the mass majority of our people. The unteachable, those who lack spiritual insight, the spiritually blind, and those who are flippant-hearted, and who deliberately choose to reject the Most High and wisdom, the arrogant. This is the mass majority of our people. Just imagine, like I said, you might have had a brother or a sister, that was at the game, at the tailgate. Could have even been at either one of them high schools. But despite being around and amongst Jake, at least they still have Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua in mind. The rest of our people, they don't have the Lord in mind, which it wouldn't be wise to go because we all knew through the Spirit that something was gonna happen. We all knew through the Spirit that some type of event, some shooting, some wicked was gonna happen, some evil was gonna happen. We didn't go. I know for sure I didn't go. So going back to 29. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. Right. They didn't choose the fear of the Lord. They're unteachable. That's why they got to be destroyed. That's why ultimately 2/3 of our people in Babylon the Great got to be destroyed. And the mass majority of it is women. Women outnumber men already. But two, these women are completely out of order and off the chain. Like it's literally ridiculous down here. I mean, I ain't gonna say down here like it ain't all over. It's all over. But it's ridiculous how terrible these women are. And these be the same women that be screaming and running when these things happen. Literally, at all these shootings, women were screaming and running. You know, men, they running, they trying to get out of the way. They getting out. But women, they screaming. Why do you think women scream? It's a clear difference. You know, you just think about it. It's a clear difference between when a man is afraid and trying to get away and a woman is afraid trying to get away. A man, he'll run in silence, you know, or he ain't finna just scream and yell. Women scream and yell because that's their defense mechanism. They scream because that's why the Lord gave them the voice to scream, to alert any male that can possibly save them. And that's why even in our laws, it talks about a woman screaming out. You know, if a man try to take, she's betrothed to another man, and he tried to take her and lie with her, you know, she's supposed to scream out because that scream is supposed to attract another man to come and save her, you know, or somebody to come save her. And if she don't scream out, that's basically her consenting to sleeping with another man, even though she has a husband, or sleeping with another man, even though she's betrothed. She's promised to another man. So all these women literally were screaming, yelling, running, you know, and the Lord didn't help you. The Lord ain't gonna come and save you. And ain't no man trying to save and protect these women. They had to get the safety themselves. I guarantee you, wasn't no man concerned unless it was just his girl, you know. That'd probably been the only way. If it was his girl, you know, he'd probably try to make sure she's straight. But for the mass majority of them women, they were on their own. They screaming and running with everybody else, trying to get out of Dodge, fearing for their life. Verse 30, they would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own device. I'm read 31 in the AMP. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their own wicked way and be saturated with the penalty of their own devices. So when these judgments come, the Lord said, look, I'm not going to save you. I already tried to. If the Lord trying to save our people and they don't want to be saved, how much more you think we gonna save them? You know? They don't want to listen to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So if you don't want to be saved, well shit, don't save her. That's what they say. And the Lord referenced Israel as a woman. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. You know, that's literally the epitome of our people, the mass majority, the 2/3. But the elect, the hopeful elect, oh no, we came out of that mindset. We ain't trying to be like that. You know, we want the Lord to save us. We want to be snatched up by him. You know, our people talk about us, they mock us, they ridicule us, and they do all this against us. But then it's be the same people, or people with the same mindset at least. Even if they don't do it, they'll associate themselves or disassociate themselves with the Lord. They go around to events like this and wonder why the black community can't get right, or wonder why they almost lost their life. You know, verse 32, for the turning in AMP, for the turning away of the naive will kill them, or the simple ones, and the careless ease of self-righteous fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me, wisdom, will live securely in confident trust, and will be at ease without fear or dread of evil. And like I said, us brothers, once we left, we went home. We ain't worried about nothing. You know, I came home, I ate, I took a shower, I chilled. You know, went to sleep peacefully in my right mind, and woke up peaceful in my right mind. And that's a blessing. You know, that's a blessing. The rest of these people, while I'm asleep, or while I'm chilling at least, people were dying. You know, people were getting shot at in 2 separate locations. And then while I'm going about my day yesterday, you know, doing my thing, running my errands, completely at peace, you know, calm. You had 2 other shootings at 2 separate colleges, you know. But like I said, but whoever listens to me, or I'm reading the KJV, but whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil. So, you know, it's finna get worse. Slovakia. It's finna get a lot worse. And I knew that, you know, after seeing them shootings, because I forgot when I did the video, I knew it was gonna get worse. And it's probably gonna be some more shootings. At least probably one more today. That'll run the total up, you know, whether it be just people shot or people killed. Probably gonna be something else. You know, Jake ain't done partying. Jake ain't gonna let no shooting stop them. No matter how much judgment is going about. But on that note, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children that they're keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. And I just want to make one more point, because I was just thinking about it. Like I said, but whosoever hearken unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil. This is why the men of the Lord are going to be more precious than fine gold and a covering. You know, this is exactly why. Because they, you know, and Lord willing know that number, the elect men, they're hearkening unto the voice of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua and doing what he commands. And by doing so, with that mindset of serving the Lord in peace and, you know, in security, well, I mean, not peace and security, in sincerity and the truth, the Lord is going to offer you that. He's going to give you that peace, that ease of mind on how to deal with these situations if you are ever caught up in it. But for the most part, the Lord is going to protect you and keep you away from this. And it's going to be known to everybody that's around that see it. They're going to know the Lord is with you and protecting you, which is going to make your value even more valuable. That's why I said they're going to be made more precious than fine gold. So you just imagine, and I'm going to just say this and then I'm going to close it out. It could have been any men of the Lord, you know, but I use myself for an example. You know, if I had a woman and she was interested in going to the game and going to this, that, and the third, or going to the tailgate, I'm by myself right now, and I didn't go. It's people that I could have went with, could have, you know, found somebody that's probably cooking, got a spot, and went to any one of those, you know. But we'll just use the colleges. But me, through the Spirit, I already know something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. And literally, we would tell our family, or, you know, if a brother had children that wanted to go with something, look, you probably shouldn't go because something's gonna happen. Or else, if you do go, you need to leave early because it ain't gonna be safe. But the Lord would have given us that insight, you know, or he's already given us the insight. We already knew through the Spirit something was gonna happen. But you know, the Lord gives us that insight to know how to move. And while a lot of people say, well, you know, a lot of people in the world, they say, well, we knew something was gonna happen too. You know, we didn't go. That's why we didn't go. Yeah, but this is why everything is good. Just wait till things get worse. Then it's going to be known who are the men of the Lord. And then the men of the Lord are going to be shining far greater than anything, especially when the spiritual powers come into play too. So on that, I'm going to close out, Lord, with this edifying shalom.